The hum of the starship's engine was a steady, comforting rhythm. Commander Elias Vance leaned against the metallic wall of the observation deck, staring out at the swirling colors of the nebula below. The Andari sector had always been dangerous, but nothing in his years of interstellar exploration had prepared him for what was about to happen. A sudden alert jolted him from his thoughts. The ship's AI, Lyra, spoke in her calm, synthetic voice. "Commander Vance, I am detecting a life form approaching the abandoned station on Epsilon 9. Scans indicate severe injuries." Elias narrowed his eyes. Epsilon 9 was a dead world, a frozen husk that had been uninhabited for centuries. Yet there was a life signal, one that pulsed weakly, desperate, almost pleading. "Set a course, Lyra," he said. "Maximum speed." The journey was tense. The station appeared as a skeletal structure, orbiting the icy planet like a ghost. Docking was rough. The station had long since been stripped of maintenance systems. Elias suited up, grabbing his standard-issue plasma rifle, though he doubted he'd need it. Whoever or whatever was inside clearly wasn't in a position to fight. The main chamber of the station was dark, illuminated only by flickering emergency lights. The air was cold, the kind that burned lungs and froze thoughts. And then he saw her. She collapsed on the floor, barely conscious. Her skin had a faint violet glow, and her large, almond-shaped eyes were half-lidded in pain. She raised a trembling hand, pointing toward him. "You're my only hope, human," she whispered. Elias froze. The words were not just a plea, they were a warning. "Who are you?" he asked, kneeling beside her. "What happened?" "My name is Celera," she said, her voice barely above a breath. I carried the data, the weapon, they are coming, and if I fail, everything will be lost." "Slow down," Elias said, scanning her with his handheld scanner. Her vitals were critical. "First, you need medical attention. Then we figure out the rest." But Solara's eyes darted to the main viewport. "No, they are close. The Chronix fleet, if they reach the core worlds." Her words cut off as she coughed violently, a spark of violet light escaping her lips. Elias' heart raced. He lifted her gently, carrying her to the med bay. Lyra worked quickly to stabilize her, administering nanobot injections and carefully monitoring her fluctuating vitals. "Commander," Lyra said, her voice tense, "her biology is not entirely compatible with human physiology. The nanobots may stabilize her, but full recovery could take time. She is still in grave danger." Elias watched as Solara's breathing evened slightly. "She trusts me," he murmured. "I can't let her die." Solara's lips twitched into a faint smile, though her eyes remained wary. "You don't understand, human. They will erase every world if I fail." "Then we won't let that happen," Elias said firmly. "But you have to tell me everything. Now." Her story spilled out in fragments, halting and uneven. She was a scientist from the planet Laris Prime, part of a coalition attempting to create a defense against the Chronix, a relentless alien empire bent on universal domination. She had been entrusted with the core protocol, a weapon of unimaginable power, but the Chronix had tracked her down. Her ship had been destroyed, leaving her stranded on the derelict station. "And you are the only human who can activate it?" Elias asked. Celera nodded weakly. "Our technology cannot interface with your species except through a neural key which you possess." "Excuse me?" Elias frowned. "I don't even know what that means." "Your DNA, your neural patterns, they are compatible. It is the only way." She paused, shivering. "If I die, it cannot be done. You are my only hope." Elias clenched his fists. The weight of her words pressed down on him. He had faced many threats. Pirates, rogue AI, black hole anomalies, but nothing like this. This was not a fight he could win with weapons alone. He spent hours coaxing her to a stable condition, his mind racing with questions. The Chronix fleet was closing in fast. Lyra calculated that if they did not leave immediately, the station would be destroyed and Celera along with it. "Commander," Lyra said, "we must depart now. We cannot guarantee her survival on this station any longer." Elias lifted Celera gently. "Hang on," he whispered. "We're leaving." The engines roared to life as the starship left the orbit of Epsilon 9. The Chronix fleet appeared on the radar, a vast armada of sleek, black ships that moved with lethal precision. Celera shivered in his arms. "They are fast," she said weakly. "Too fast we cannot outrun them. Only the core protocol." "Then show me," Elias said, determination hardening his voice. "I'll do whatever it takes." Celera led him to a hidden chamber within the ship. The walls were covered in alien glyphs that glowed faintly violet, pulsating like a heartbeat. In the center was a device, an orb of shimmering energy, suspended in a magnetic field.
"This is it," she said.
"The core protocol. You must interface with it through your neural key. Only a human can complete the activation." Elias studied the device, feeling a strange pull, as if it were alive. "And what happens when I do this?" She looked at him with a mixture of fear and hope. "You will become the bridge between our species and the weapon. It will either stop them or destroy everything." Elias swallowed hard. The weight of responsibility was staggering, but he saw no other choice. He placed his hands on the orb. A surge of energy coursed through him, visions of distant worlds, star systems, and alien civilizations flashing in his mind. He gasped, feeling the core protocol reading him, adapting to his neural patterns. Solara's voice whispered in his mind, guiding him. "Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. It is the only way." The Chronix fleet began their attack. Their ships unleashed waves of energy that tore through the vacuum of space, heading straight for Elias' ship. The core protocol hummed, responding to the threat. Elias felt a connection unlike anything he had experienced. He could sense the fleet, anticipate their movements, and manipulate the energy of the orb to form shields and counterattacks. One by one, the Chronix ships disintegrated in bursts of violet light. But it was not enough. The core protocol was draining him. His vision blurred, his body trembled. Solara's hand found his, anchoring him. "You're doing it, almost there." With a final surge, Elias poured every ounce of his willpower into the orb. The core protocol expanded outward, forming a massive energy field that engulfed the Chronix fleet. The alien ships screamed as they were disassembled at a molecular level, their energy feeding back into the orb. And then, silence. Elias fell to his knees, exhausted, his mind barely coherent. Celera knelt beside him, tears streaming down her violet face. You did it," she whispered. He looked around at the remnants of the battlefield. The Chronix threat was gone, disintegrated by the weapon he had just wielded. The galaxy was safe, at least for now. "You saved us all," she said, her voice breaking. I thought we were done for." Elias smiled faintly, still trembling. "No, we're not done yet. But we survived." Celera rested her head against his shoulder. I cannot thank you enough. Without you, everything would have been lost." "Don't thank me," Elias said. "We did it together." In the following days, as they repaired the ship and charted a course back to the core worlds, a bond formed between them. Elias had saved not just a life, but a civilization. And in doing so, he had discovered that even in the vast, cold expanse of space, hope could still exist, fragile, improbable, but powerful enough to change the fate of the galaxy. Celera, once weak and desperate, began to regain her strength. She taught Elias about Lyris Prime, the core protocol, and the science that had nearly been lost. And Elias, once a lone human explorer, realized that sometimes being the only hope was not a burden, but a calling. Weeks later, as they approached the core worlds, a celebration awaited them. The people of Lyris Prime and the allied human colonies hailed Elias as a hero and Celera as the scientist who had entrusted the galaxy's fate to him. Yet, despite the accolades, Elias knew the truth. It had not been his strength alone that had saved them. It had been trust, courage, and the willingness to act when all hope seemed lost. Celera stood beside him, gazing out at the stars. "Do you realize," she said softly, "that the galaxy will always need someone like you?" Elias chuckled, though it was tinged with humility. "Then I guess we better be ready." And as the twin suns of the core worlds rose, casting golden light across the surface, Elias understood that the adventure was far from over. The Chronics were gone, but the universe was vast, and hope, fragile, relentless, human, would always be needed. Celera smiled at him, her violet eyes shining. "You're my only hope, human," she whispered again. But this time, it was not desperation. It was gratitude. It was trust. And Elias knew he would never forget it. Because sometimes, even in the darkest corners of space, a single human could make all the difference. Weeks had passed since the core protocol had obliterated the Chronics fleet. The galaxy, fragile but alive, was slowly breathing again. Elias and Solara's ship drifted toward the core worlds, carrying both relief and the weight of what had been endured. Celera, once fragile and desperate, had regained her strength. Her violet skin now glimmered with renewed life, and her large eyes held a spark of determination that had been absent before. She walked beside Elias on the landing platform, each step a testament to survival, courage, and trust. As they exited the ship, the citizens of the core worlds erupted in cheers. Holographic banners displayed images of Elias, holding the core protocol, and Celera, her eyes shining with hope. Children pointed at them, gasping at the tale of the human who had saved countless civilizations. Despite the adulation, Elias felt no pride, only a quiet satisfaction. He had survived countless missions, faced countless dangers, but this had tested his mind, body, and soul in ways nothing else could. Celera turned to him. "Elias, now that it's over, do you know what you've done?" He shook his head. "I just did what had to be done."
"You showed me the way."
"We did it together." Celera smiled, brushing a stray strand of violet hair from her face. "You didn't just save me or the core worlds, you saved us all. The core protocol was not merely a weapon, it was a responsibility. And you fulfilled it, even when you didn't understand its power." A delegation of Lyris scientists approached, carrying detailed reports of the destroyed Chronics fleet. "Commander Vance," one of them said, "your actions have ensured not just survival, but knowledge. The core protocol can now be safeguarded, studied, and shared with allied worlds. Its secrets are safe because of you." Elias felt a rare warmth, the satisfaction of legacy, of leaving a mark on the galaxy that would outlive him. Later, in the quiet of the observation deck, Elias and Celera stood together, watching the twin suns of the core worlds rise. "Do you ever wonder if the Chronics will return?" Elias asked. Solara's gaze was steady. "Perhaps. But they will never find us unprepared again. And neither will they find us alone." Elias nodded. "Then we keep going. We protect the galaxy, not because we have to, but because we can." Solara's hand found his, a gesture of both trust and friendship. "And you know, human, even if I collapse again, I will always hope you're there. Because you are my only hope and perhaps the galaxies as well. Elias chuckled softly, squeezing her hand. Then let's make sure we're always ready. Together. For the first time in years, Elias allowed himself to truly relax. The battles were over, for now, but the galaxy remained alive with possibilities. He and Celera had faced despair and emerged victorious. They had carried the burden of worlds on their shoulders and survived. As the core world cities glittered below, Elias realized that the universe was vast, unpredictable, and often dangerous. Yet there was a truth more powerful than any weapon: hope, courage, and trust, qualities that even a single human could wield to change the fate of countless lives. And with Celera by his side, Elias knew that no darkness, no enemy, no overwhelming force could ever extinguish that light. The galaxy was safe.
For now.
But the adventure was far from over. Because in the infinite expanse of space, new challenges always awaited, and Elias, the human who had once been called Only Hope, was ready. He looked at Celera one last time before stepping back onto the bridge. We did it, and we'll keep doing it, together. Celera smiled, her violet eyes gleaming. Yes, together. The suns rose higher, casting golden light across the surface. Ships lifted into orbit, children waved, and the galaxy hummed with life. Elias knew one thing for certain. Sometimes, being the only hope wasn't a burden, it was a destiny. And this human was ready to embrace it, no matter what the stars had in store.